Hello, everyone who's watching us in YouTube and in the Gather Gallery. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to we're super excited. We're going to talk over each other for a little bit, but welcome to the first talking event for Art Happens on our first official full day of Art Happens. So thank you for joining. Yeah, today I have with me Claudia. Claudia, where are you? You're in...
Hello from Italy. That's where I am, Anna, right now.
Yay. So Claudia's been in the Fun a Day shows for several years now, and I'm just happy that she's here to do some work with us and show us stuff. So I'm going to hand it over to Claudia, and you can take over. Yay.
Okay. So, yes, hello, everybody. Thank you for anybody who's connecting to, join us in this conversation. So I'm part of this show, which is being organized by, Amy, you have to correct me, whatever, if I'm saying something wrong, by Fun a Day, Crash Art Space, and what's the other place? Reseda, One a Day, something?
Fun a Day Reseda, yeah.
Oh, Fun a Day Reseda. And so I'd like to thank everybody for inviting me and to have me as a guest for this conversation. And I'm going to be sharing my screen, something that I've never done before. So, so I'm going to try my best. So before I do that, actually, I just wanted to say that the work that's in the show is titled "We Are Making Art." And the reason why I selected this work is that I thought it would fit perfectly the wonderful Fun a Day call to make art every day, and also would fit the wonderful title of the show Art Happens. Actually, it's Art.HAPPENS. And then it would fit the not so wonderful time frame we're living in. And lastly, I was hoping that you could come up with some fun parallels between housekeeping and hacking. So yes, so I think I'm going to start sharing my screen. There's going to be a little bit of sound, I think, which I might have to adjust. Here we go. So I'm going to show you a few videos. In 2014, I started bringing the figure of a housekeeper out in nature and into the urban environment. So throughout the talk, I thought Bart was going to VJ, but now I'm going to be a VJ as well. I'm going to show you little snippets and parts of videos that show the developing of the work since. So it is a deep, emotional and yet political work that I like to talk about tonight. I mean, it's night over here, it's your morning. So I had to write it down, hoping that I could get the point across in a better way. And I hope to do a good job in reading it out now. So here we go. I like to begin the talk by quoting Virginia Woolf. And I don't know, Amy, is the volume too loud? Can you all hear me? Okay. Amy?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Can you hear? Is the volume too high of the video? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are good. We can hear you.
All right, here we go. So here's a Virginia Woolf quote. Now that she had rid herself of falsehood, that young woman had only to be herself. Ah, but what is herself? I mean, what is a woman? I assure you, I do not know. I do not believe that you know. I do not believe that anybody can know until she has expressed herself in all the arts and professions open to human skill. End of quote. working the home, working at home, working in the home, working on, by, with, through, within, for the home, working from home. We are working. For decades, centuries, women have been working from home. Was that ever considered smart working? Women's housework has never been viewed as work or smart. Women had to battle themselves out into the professional world to gain some sort of visibility, acknowledgement, and economic independence. But the right to be in charge of one's own life is a luxury for many women still today. Therefore, I ask you, smart working for whom? Who do you think coined this term? As society rests on women's hardship of unpaid work, in other words, slavery, coronavirus has exposed the fragility of our social achievements, setting back women's gains in equality by at least a decade, and probably more. Women have been the most affected in terms of unemployment, yet their chores have dramatically increased, despite all the technology and robotic innovations. Now, does it matter that I would really like to call myself a gender non-binary? How would my gender fluidity impact or be impacted by this societal value system? Carved by years of training, the binary is so deeply embedded in me. Despite high hopes and hard attempts, I'm a woman still trying to kill the angel of the house clinging inside me. Finding my way into queerness was actually a much more natural and easier process than to rid myself of that phantom that Virginia Woolf so powerfully describes in her speech titled Profession for Women, given in 1931 to the Women's Service League. Praised by straight and queers, I brought the angel of the house with me into every relationship, even the lesbian one. Most annoyingly, I found no equity, especially around the housekeeping matters, in neither one of those relationships. As I'm tagging along, embarrassed of my domesticity, the oppressed rebel in me dreams of becoming. Deep in my heart, I like the idea of a nasty, tough, wild woman. And I think I'm gonna switch to another video now. Well, hold on everybody, so I'm trying to do both things. Here we go. So yes, a nasty, tough, wild woman. In the spirit, no, hold on. But even if I successfully would rid myself of that shameful identity, what next? Could I just shed my past like that? What if there was something good in it? In the spirit of acceptance, I've started to look for the positive. An ancestral line of women had passed something on to me. To evolve along the never-ending emancipatory path, I no longer could reject nor run away from that inheritance. I descend from a line of angels in the house. I have to at least acknowledge that. Out of respect, recognize their lives, their hardships, their judgment, and above all, their knowledge. I'm a recipient of women that, like my mom and grandmothers, have fought, put up with, resisted, underwent, endured, allowed, tolerated, permitted, swallowed, faced, worked, and overall suffered the multifaceted violence of patriarchal impositions. To negate their work will be to continue to perpetuate the same system that undervalues people's lives. So on to another one. So while I'm actually doing the VJ, What I'm showing you now is a series of works that started in Italy, and then I start performing in LA. So it started in a natural environment, and then I brought them in the urban environment, as I said earlier in the talk. And these are some documentation of those events. Sorry, I was just trying to, here we go. Okay, so getting back to my talk, to negate their work would be to continue to perpetuate the same system that undervalues people's lives. An artist, a woman, a lesbian, a housekeeper, and by default, a caregiver too, my emancipatory journey is deeply rooted in the footsteps of my many mothers. For better or worse, I need to embrace that feminine cultural heritage in order to embrace my modernity. The feminist art movement, Emilia Euclid's Maintenance Manifesto, inspired me to import daily housekeeping chores into my art practice and to merge it with its environmental focus. This process made me realize that keeping and caring are vital forms not just of economic production, but also agencies of lively culture making, impacting the environment and the spiritual, social, political spheres of society. The problem, therefore, was not so much the angel of a house, but the fact that her essential work was undermined, overlooked, taken for granted, exploited, and unpaid. By working the domestic sphere, women might have no power in society, but people's lives are literally in their hands. Women are in control of humans' most important bodily functions, such as nutrition and overall well-being. As keepers, we entertain daily chores which require important decision-taking and making skills. These decisions affect not just us or our loved ones, but the environment too. Constantly confronted by a series of practical, philosophical, and yes, spiritual quests, the never-ending cycle of housekeeping starts with the grocery shopping, carries on with the cooking, cleaning, washing, arranging, organizing, and relentlessly continues with all the other endless problem-solving and invisible tasks required to manage a household, such as being aware of how much water to use on washing dishes, how much dishwashing liquid, washing up powder or bleach to use, how to manage the laundry in a sustainable environmental way, which seasonal local produce to buy and how to cook it, how to pay attention to bills and manage a budget, how to reduce, reuse, recycle, how to manage the fridge contents, how to transform leftovers, how to avoid food waste, how to save and be resourceful, how to be updated, how to resist coercion from the media bombarding us with ever new products that produce only more plastic and toxic waste rather than clean, how to spot the scam, how to beautify, how to mend, how to keep, how to care. Can we then say that housekeeping is much like the work of an activist, social or environmental, or of a manager or a politician or of an artist? Moreover, caring, keeping, and maintaining are non-polluting activities that produce renewal instead. Conscious housekeeping can be very rewarding. It is a practice that daily puts us in touch with our real human necessity, such as inhabiting the space of our homes and of our bodies. Nobody can deny the sense of well-being that comes from eating homemade food, or the comfort of sleeping in a clean bed, or the pleasure of bathing in a scrubbed tub. In our society, though, housekeeping is viewed as trivial, unimportant, tedious, boring, repetitive, hard work that nobody wants to do and generally goes unappreciated even by our loved ones. Yet, I keep prioritizing housekeeping. I invest most of my time in the daily practical matters instead of making art. I think that the reason for this is that I'm well aware that most female art goes unseen and unrecognized. The artwork being another realm where LGBTQ menopausal women like me are invisible. So I place physical survival before my art. I constantly control the space in the house because I have no real power outside it and therefore no real freedom either. So to come back to art and to run some parallel, yes, I am a well-trained housekeeper and a well-trained artist too. Both are time-consuming occupations and time is money in this double-standard capitalist society. Yet both are non-remunerative undertakings. Most women, like myself, could not survive on the labor of these two jobs only. Drawing back to art parallels, I wanted to create my female version of John Baldessari's conceptual artwork titled I'm Making Art. Don't get me wrong, his work is brilliant. As a conceptual artist myself, I identify with the point he's making. It is an important one, but it is a limited one of privilege too. So bless his soul, I took the liberty to add another layer and more depth to it. A depth that is again limited by my own white privilege. So this is an open conversation as much as it is an open struggle for visibility, claiming the value of the labor of our arts. Female artists have been working for home for centuries, and so have housekeepers. Working from home is not a novelty for us. Like my art practice, housekeeping is about generating well-being and consciousness rather than producing objects. Not just a matter of space and boundaries, it's time to redefine the purpose of work and to rethink its meaning. I'm making art, 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 I'm making art. Opportunistic patriarchal values have taught us to shun domestic works as inferior and belittle the sacredness of healthy rituals such as keeping and caring. The issue of the value of maintenance labor versus production labor remains an open wound for many women, as housekeeping will continue to be the foundational activity, one on which all other professions rest on, of life and of societies of any era. Not so much about glorifying housekeeping, the aim of my work is about fairness. I wanted you to join me in honoring the work of millions of invisible women. This is a tribute to their great work. So this is a tribute to their great work. I also wanted you to view housekeeping through the lens of an environmental woman artist, an eco-feminist lesbian aspiring to become a fluid gender, non-binary, non-conforming. I have learned that housekeeping is a fundamental practice that connects me to the nature, that connects me to nature and to the environment. No matter what sex, gender, class, or race, we should reinvent ourselves as creative, futuristic housekeepers. I see housekeeping as activism, and the home is a place of empowerment, and therefore freedom, where social and environmental justice intersect. From this space of resilience, I rise over the low self-esteem instilled in me and claim my rights as a worker for all the invisible labor done so far. We are making art. 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 We are working. We are working. We are working. We are working. We are making art. We are making art. We are making art. We are making art. I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. We are making art. We are making art. I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. Thank you. Okay, so this is the end of my presentation, everybody. If anybody is asking questions now.
Oh, there are definitely questions. One of the ones that I had first, though, I mean, it's such powerful, all your work and the messages. Like, when was there an experience or an age or something that you really became aware of? Like, for me, you know, like there's girls' chores and boys' chores. Did you have that kind of situation, or you know, how'd this come about?
I think as a child, you don't really see it that way, because I don't know, some people more than others, you know, like to do anything, you know, like, I mean, I think if you get a kid now, they probably like to mess around in the kitchen as much as they like to mess around in the dirt outside. So I think it's just a matter of how we train, you know, people.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I think, and maybe I became more aware of it because I have brothers. And there was a point where I was like, oh, their chores are different. Why are they different? Yeah.
I mean, the sad thing is that it was so, you know, it's so subtle, the training, that for me, I just became aware of it when I was in my 40s or 50s, you know. I was completely blind, you know, like, okay, I just want to do it, whatever. But now I'm thinking, you know, what's the value of all that time and that investment, and is, you know, and I think now, you know, I know everybody, it's kind of embarrassing to do work, you know, to work at home in a way. It's not really appreciated or valued. And yet, I think I want to turn it around and make it a place of resistance, you know, a place where conversation like this can happen, and they're not just like boring conversation, but interesting conversations.
Yeah, I think. But when do you start that conversation? Because you have little kids who are eager to help mom clean, so you let them.
But again, that's why I think the aspect of gender is so important, because I think I envision the future as everybody is going to be this futuristic housekeeper that spills into the environment, because whatever the way we look after the home, and and the consciousness that goes into that, how we keep our bodies and our environment, microenvironments, it's going to spill over and reflect in the on the larger picture. And Amy, know how being not wasteful, and food waste, and all those little details that we talk about all the time. It seems normal to us, but then sometimes when you exit those kind of environments, and it's not that obvious anymore.
Oh no, as soon as you leave your home and go to someone else's who doesn't think the same way as you, which is not a bad experience, but you start to notice, oh, they're not turning the water off while they're washing dishes.
Yeah.
How can I convince them to do that? That's what I'm thinking.
So that's why I think it's really important to merge this theme into the art, merge art and housekeeping together. I mean, as you said, not everybody is conscious about how much water they use when they wash dishes, or when they do the laundry, or how much. I mean, I'm very careful how much dishwash I use. It doesn't have to be tons. Just very little goes a long way.
Oh, so, totally. And then I also thought, while you were talking about listing out things, you mentioned, knowing how much bleach to use, and my thought was, you don't use any.
Yeah, I know. I don't use it. But like sometimes you might need. I mean, like in Italy, you do like for specific jobs. Like and I know, like sometimes I had a friend, like she was just coming and throwing all this bleach in the water. Like, I mean, me and my mom were saying, like, you could just put a little bit in it. Much. I mean, you're killing all the cats and all the birds and everybody around you by washing the
exactly. Floor. Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah.
And are you doing any work? Any presentations or anything we should know about anywhere in the world coming up?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I think actually there'll be, I don't know if you know, Made Out of What?
Yeah.
Are doing a presentation at the Raskin Something Society in LA on the 25th of February. And so my work will be mentioned in that presentation, because it's all about recycling. But they're going to be talking more about my plastic bags work, so the recycled plastic bags. So yeah, I just have been sending some materials, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Yes, of course, I'm also working on the feminist march that will take place in Nice on the 5th of June. So we, just as a big group of women, like internationally collaborating and trying to make this 3 days event happening. But it's, we're working really hard. There's so much work to be done. And if anybody wants to come, we want to be in the thousands. I mean,
yeah,
really like 15,000, but we don't know how's that going to work out. So yeah, that's another thing that's happening.
Are these things listed on your website?
I mean, I might blog them on my blog, so I will try to keep you updated on
and
that.
If we go on the website, is there a contact you page or anything? Like, how do we get in touch with you if we want to ask you?
By email, if you on my website. I mean,
there's an email link. Okay, cool.
Address, so that's the best way to contact me, because I'm not having I don't really use social media as much as everybody else. So
yeah, we have to go on your website to read about why you're not using social media.
Yes.
And find out if we all need to get off.
I know that you have a schedule today as well. What's happening? Do you have many artists
Oh yeah, that's in
presenting?
the we do. That's a great question. I forgot to put the banner up, did I, for the show? Because there are talks all day today, and there are talks tomorrow, and it can all be found on this website here that I put up right now. And if you go into the virtual gallery, there's a list in the gallery too that reminds you, and it'll pop you right over to either you can sit in the gallery. If you've been in the virtual gallery, you can actually sit in a little chair and stare at the screen, and you'll be watching us right now. And then you could also just go to YouTube. You don't have to go into the gallery if you don't want to. But,
well, I was hoping, I think the other thing that I thought was really interesting that is, I mean, not only it is organized by Funny Day LA, which you have started, how many years ago was that? 4 years ago? 3 years?
It was 4. This is our 6th show.
Okay, so. 6 months, sorry. And but also it's nice this collaboration with Crash Space, which is in a hacking space. And I really liked, I don't know, I wish Barb was here because, she's the expert about all of that. So that we could actually have like a dialogue between hacking and housekeeping. I thought it would be really fun.
We should do that in the future. That's a great idea. And there's 2 panels today. One's the Fun a Day panel. I believe that's at 1 o'clock. I don't remember. I'm on it. I should find out. And then there's a Crash Space panel later tonight that Barb's going to be on. So we're individually talking about what our projects are, but a collaboration like the one we're doing right today, this whole weekend, and one that you just kind of mentioned, Claudia, that would be perfect because that's very, very true to your work, trying to get everyone to become our domestic. I don't want to say robots. What did you say? We're being future housekeepers.
Futuristic housekeepers.
That's what I thought of robots.
I mean, I don't know that, and I'm working on that image actually. That's gonna be my next video. But it's not that and I know housework is not for everybody, and not everybody has to do it. And it's not just. And the point is, it's not just female that need to do it. I mean, actually, everybody's welcome. I think it's just a concept of caring and keeping that. Reflects on the way we also care about the environment, is that idea of maintaining something. And there's also like a spiritual and sacredness in that practice that kind of is parallel to art, as well, but it's not valued. So I think I said it in the.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I mean, I can't speak for other countries, but in America, housekeeping and art neither of them are valued. So they got a lot of work cut out for you to get them all built up.
Speaking from Italy, where contemporary art, nobody even know what it is for most people. But I mean, we surely know what housekeeping is because, it was still stuck in another decade where most women are, in charge and juggling, the house, work, of course, work as well. And the problem is now that obviously with coronavirus, most women have lost their job. I mean, the percentage that actually, if you look on my blog, there's a beautiful link to a BBC Word, and there's a beautiful article. I don't know if I could find it now. I don't know if you have time. Anyways, I'll send it to you if you want to post it later.
Yeah, we could all go to your blog.
It really beautifully, writes with statistics how women are kind of back in the kitchen, in the home, and unpaid and having to work unpaid, an unpaid job. I mean, it's like all unpaid labor, which is not so bad if you then, the whole societal value system has to change. If we do this for nothing, then other things have to be for nothing too.
Like rent, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Claudia, this has been awesome. I'm so glad you joined. You've been in all my Fun a Day shows. You've been in,
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, you might have missed one, but I don't think so.
Yes.
But either way, it's been awesome as always talking with you, and I'm sure we've all learned a lot. And I'm gonna go watch some more videos of I am making art. I am
Okay,
making art.
I'm making art. We are making art.
Yes.
We are making art.
And you can watch some Claudia videos in the Art Happens show. We've got them in the gallery for you all to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and look. I'm gonna look at, and I want to sit on that virtual chair and see what's happening. I haven't done that yet.
Do it. It's lots of fun. Okay, Claudia, we will talk again soon. And thank you everyone
Thank
who's been
you. Thank you,
watching.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.